Another go at the Chinese buffet might seem like a good idea, but you're not sure if you'll be able to finish everything you take. According to Brad Bloomer from the Washington Post, you may be contributing to a $165 billion problem, a problem of food waste. I'm sure all of us have gone up to the buffet once too many times, or just thrown produce because it was a little bit bruised. I've done substantial academic research on this topic in the last few months.
Hi, I'm Nathan, and I have also done some research, and well, I too am also guilty of throwing away food that doesn't exactly need to be thrown out.
The United States consumers throw out a tremendous amount of food, and there's steps that each of us can take to help eliminate some of this waste. In the coming minutes, we'd like to speak to you about exactly how consumers throw all this food, the environmental impacts of this waste, and what each and every one of us can do to help eliminate this problem. First, I'd like to speak about how so many consumers throw out food. And this is for two main reasons. First of all, Americans have extremely high cosmetic standards for the food that they eat. In a 2016 article published in The Guardian, author Suzanne Goldenberg states that 25% of all produce is just left to rot in fields because it's slightly misshapen or slightly blemished. Again, in another article published in 2016 in The Atlantic, author Adam Chandler talks about so-called camera cuisine, in the age where restaurant patrons are frequently taking pictures of their food and uploading them to social media. Chefs must not only be concerned about the visual appeal of the food to the eaters themselves, but also to thousands of other people on social media commenting on that dish. And this leads to a lot more food to be thrown out than would normally happen. Secondly, consumers throw out a lot of food from their own homes. According to Goldenberg, again in her article from The Guardian, the average family of four throws out approximately $1,600 of food every single year. A lot of this is caused by consumers being confused about expiration versus sell-by dates, or just forgetting food in the back of their fridge. Next, I'd like to speak about the environmental impacts this food waste has on all of us. Large inputs are needed to produce food that eventually ends up in the trash. In the academic paper, The Climate Change and Environmental Impacts of Food Waste in the United States, published October 2011, author Kumar Venkat states that a whopping 40% of all the food in the United States eventually ends up in the landfill. In another academic journal titled Wasted Food, U.S. Consumers Reported Awareness, Attitudes and Behaviors, published in 2015, author Ronnie Neff et al. Basically equates this to meaning 35% of all our fresh water, 31% of our crop land, and 30% of all the fertilizer we use is eventually wasted. Now I'd like to turn over to Nathan to speak about the remaining effects of environmental effects of food waste and what each and every one of us can do to help solve this problem.
One of the largest problems with the food waste is the environmental damage that it leaves behind. In 2009, roughly 112 million metric tons of CO2 was pumped into the atmosphere due to food waste. Greenhouse gases are also not just produced from the cultivation and transportation of food, but also from the food waste that is left to rot in landfills. Food waste has a big impact on our lives, but there are many ways to help prevent it. By making small changes to our lifestyle, each and every one of us can help to reduce food waste. According to a study done in 2013 by Harvard and the NRDC, about 160 billion pounds of food are wasted due to usable food being thrown away. And in an article written by Kelsey Houston Edwards, she says that we need to be more cognizant of the differences between the best by dates and the expiration dates. A best by date refers rather to how fresh the food is, and that it's still safe to eat once it passes that date. While on the other hand, an expiration date refers to how safe the food is to eat. After an expiration date passes, it's no longer safe. Another way that we can help to reduce food waste is simply by cutting back on how much we throw out or how much we buy, because in America, we often like to make more food than we eat and throw away the leftovers. Keeping leftover food can save the average American family $640 in food expenses every year. And the EPA advises that by making a list of weekly meals, we can all help to manage how much food we need rather than just buying in excess. By doing a small amount on our part, we can all help to reduce the astronomical amount of food that is being wasted in the United States. In this speech, we informed you of the food waste problem the U.S. faces, how it affects us, and most importantly, a handful of solutions that can help cut down on the amount of waste that we produce. The food waste problem in the United States has caused serious issues socially, economically, and environmentally. It affects each and every one of us as individuals and as a community. If we each take a little time out of our days to help reverse the amount of waste that we produce, we can work towards creating a cleaner and healthier society for everyone.